Hello, I'm just making a video about switching rackets. So I have another match tomorrow and I'm thinking of using kind of a slightly lighter racket. So in my previous match and in my match in Croatia as well, I used this racket, which is 281 grams and the head size is 100 square inch. It's kind of a medium weight racket. But I'm going to train today with a kind of a slightly lighter racket. So it's a slightly larger head size as well, 105 square inches, and the weight is 273 grams. So it's only a few grams lighter, but I'm going to try get extra kind of flexibility from a match tomorrow to help me reach the ball kind of very easily, very quickly. So so it's just a slight change to help me ingrain the technique even more. So what I might do in just this training session is I'm going to try alternate between my previous racket and my new racket in quick succession, one rally after the other, just against the wall. And then later on today I'm going to do some practice for an hour, and I'll try record some of my serves. So this is my another racket. It's kind of a 108 square inches and 270 grams. So it's much like the blue racket that I'm going to play with tomorrow, except this racket has kind of a slightly different swing weight as well, 3 points head light. So it's slightly different swing weight, and I suppose one advantage of using kind of a range of similar rackets is that it only slightly affects your technique, so it doesn't take too long to adapt to it, and you get kind of a slightly different emphasis on the shot. So it's good for practicing and to kind of your adaptation skills. For my match in the first pre-qualifying in Turkey, I was using, as I was saying before, I used kind of a heavier racket. I put lead tape on it, and because that was such a different type of racket, it requires a much longer kind of adaptation period to it. So I was kind of a bit inconsistent because I didn't get enough practice with it. So whereas because these three rackets are so alike to each other, that it would only take me maybe two days maybe to fully adapt to it, and I practiced with these rackets kind of yesterday, so I'm much more attuned to it. And I also have match experience with each of these rackets in Portugal as well, so so it won't be too novel using it in a match tomorrow. I suppose I had match experience with the yellow racket that I used, the heavier one with the lead tape, but see, I only practiced with it without the lead tape in a match before, so I only, when I put the lead tape in it, I only kind of had wall practice with it, so I wasn't fully experienced with it. Whereas because I have much more experience with these three rackets, it means that I only just have to rekindle my memory, and I'll be able to do a kind of get into the swing of things fairly fast. And so if I'm training, when I first begin training, I might be a bit inconsistent, but by the time tomorrow, hopefully I'll be much more consistent. So I'll shoot a wall practice now. Hello, I'll begin rallying with my lighter racket. This is one that I'll use tomorrow. So I'll use kind of a rear semi-western backhand and semi-western forehand, and I'll just hit it flat. So I'm not sure if I'll use this same grip tomorrow, but I'll just practice with it anyway. I'll switch to my previous racket that I used in my last match, just to try and subconsciously relate it to this one, my new one. I'm using the same rear semi-western grip on the backhand. This racket has better control, but it's slightly less speed on the swing path. The lighter racket just has slightly faster, it's lighter, and it can reach the erratic bounces on clay that bit faster. I have slightly less control in terms of my opponent's spin. The heavier racket was quite good for the spin control, because if your opponent hits huge topspin, the heavy weight can be good to pump it back. But because I've already practiced with a heavy racket, that means I already have the synergy for it, and I'll be able to kind of relate it that bit better on the lighter racket for controlling the spin. So I'll do one last time with the lighter rackets I'll use tomorrow. Okay, I'll leave it at that for the wall rallies. For my serving practice later, I'll try to use the same grip that I'd use for tomorrow, in terms of whether it's Eastern or semi-Western. I was just practicing with semi-Western rear side there just for practice, but I'm not too sure if I'll use this grip tomorrow. I'll have a think about it before my practice. So some players have two of the same racket in case the string breaks, and that's one option. But I suppose if you're trading just for synergy, for trying to get the different kind of techniques on it, it might be handy to use two similar rackets instead of two of the same rackets. I suppose if a string broke on one of these rackets, I don't have a spare one of an exact copy, but it would only take me kind of a few minutes in a match to adapt to the other one, because they're so similar to each other. Whereas if I was using kind of a light racket and kind of an extremely heavy racket as a spare racket, then as you can imagine, it would take a much longer period to adapt to it. But if they're two, not the exact same, but just two similar rackets, then you just have to play cautiously if your string breaks for the first few minutes, and maybe it might be at a disadvantage for a few games when the string breaks. But come the third or fourth game, you'd be back to your normal self. I suppose I don't play too many competitions, so I don't feel the need to buy two of the exact same rackets. A string has never broken for me in competition. It's only broken during practice, so it's not a huge worry for me. But I suppose if you did buy two of the same rackets, an idea might be to use different tensions or different kind of grip sizes between the two rackets, just to have a slight difference between them for practicing. And come a tournament, you could restring it to have the same strings, or you could change your grip to ensure they're the same for the competition. Just an idea.